Whew! Viewers, you will not even believe what just happened to me, and the only way to believe it is to learn more about Merfolk and Merrow, which I'm going to be doing in this video. Alright viewers, I will be doing things a little bit differently in this video compared to the last video. I will be going over their stat blocks a little bit and providing a little bit more in-depth commentary about these creatures as a whole. Alright, shall we begin? Merfolk. Aquatic humanoids with the upper body of a human and the lower body of a fish. Merfolk adorn their skin and scales with shell decorations. Merfolk tribes and kingdoms span the world, and their people are as varied in color, culture, and outlook as the human races of the land. Or, of the surface, I should say. Landfolk and merfolk rarely meet except by chance, though star-eyed mariners do tell tales of romance with these creatures along the shoals of faraway islands. Merfolk lack the materials and practical means to forge weapons beneath the waves, to write books and keep lore, or to shape stone to raise buildings and cities. As a result, most live in small hunter-gatherer tribes, each of which hold unique values and creeds. Only occasionally do merfolk unite under the rule of a single leader. They do so to face a common threat or to complete a conquest. Such unifications can be the beginning of undersea kingdoms with dynasties spanning hundreds of years. Merfolk build their settlements in vast undersea caverns, mazes of coral, the ruins of sunken cities or structures they carve from the rocky seabed. They live in water shallow enough that the passage of time can be marked through the gleam shining through the water. In the reefs and trenches near their settlements, merfolk harvest coral and farm the seabed, shepherding schools of fish as land-based farmers tend to sheep. Only rarely do merfolk venture into the darkest depths of the ocean. In such depths, and in their undersea caverns, merfolk rely on the light of bioluminescent flora and fauna such as jellyfish, whose slow pulsing movements lend merfolk settlements an otherworldly aesthetic. Merfolk defend their communities with spears crafted from whatever materials they can salvage from shipwrecks, beaches, and dead undersea creatures. Now, with that description, I'm already seeing plot lines and hooks and environments. So let's think about this just for a moment. The low-level PC party. The PCs are traveling together. Maybe they don't know each other yet, or they do. That's for you to decide, not me. I'll leave that stuff to you. Maybe their ship gets attacked by Merrow, or there's a big storm, and somehow the merfolk save them, leading the low-level PCs to their settlement, granting them a glimpse of something fantastical that they've only heard of in sailors' tales and books. It could be a way of giving these low-level PCs a taste of otherworldliness, something usually only obtained by mid to high-level PCs. As far as plot hooks go, maybe they had a motive for saving you, or maybe you can just repay the good deed someday. Perhaps you can find out about some ancient evil, of course, or an artifact that they've held at bay, but are no longer able to do so with their power, sending you on a much bigger quest. Maybe they're being invaded by Merrill and need some form of help. Cool, unique items could also be crafted, very campaign specific to this underwater region. That's just the vibe I got from reading this. And as far as their stat block goes, they're not very tough. Armor class of 11, 11 hit points on average. If you want to roll, you can roll 2d8 plus 2. Low stats, pretty much. They're slightly above average intelligence with 11 intelligent. They're very dexterous, somewhat charismatic. They're amphibious. They can breathe air and water, so no need to worry about them being beached and stuff. That's fine. They can breathe air and water just fine. They only have one attack. It's a spear, either melee or ranged. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage. Now, I've mentioned Merfolk, but now I'm going to go into Merrow, which I have mentioned a couple times while describing Merfolk. It's just on the next page, 219. Merrill haunt coastal waters, preying on fisherfolk, merfolk, and any other edible creature that crosses their path. These savage monsters snatch and devour unwary prey, hauling drowned corpses back to their underwater grottos to feed. Now, Merrill are transformed merfolk, and here's how they were transformed. Long ago, a tribe of merfolk found an idol of Demogorgon at the bottom of the sea. Not knowing what it was, they brought the artifact back to their king, like any good soldier would do. Everyone who touched the idol became afflicted with madness, including the king, who decreed that a sacrificial ritual be performed to open a gateway to the abyss. Not such a good plan, if you know. The ocean turned red with the blood of slaughtered merfolk, but the ritual worked, and the king led the survivors through the underwater gate to Demogorgon's lair of the abyss. The merfolk remained there for generations, fighting for their lives as the abyss warped them completely, transforming them into hulking, evil monstrosities. Thus, the first Merrow were born. About the personality a little bit, however. When an opportunity presents itself, the Prince of Demons sends Merrow back to the material plane to wreak havoc in the oceans. The Merrow are bullies, attacking all creatures smaller and weaker than themselves. Merrow dwell in undersea caves filled with treasures and trophies taken from their victims and sunken ships. They tie the rotting corpses of dead enemies and drowned sailors to strands of kelp to mark the borders of their territory. Now, just that description leads me back to my plot points of the other of what I said earlier. If the Merrow did attack a ship, maybe your ship was carrying something that Demogorgon wanted, creating a whole campaign, like epic level campaign arc, just out of this merfolk. I mean, granted, you will have to find other stuff, but the basis is right here. It's all in this description, and that's pretty cool. So anyways, their stat blocks, they're significantly tougher than merfolk. Their hit points are 45, or if you want to roll, they're 60, 10 plus 12. Really high strength, good constitution, lower intelligence, lower charisma. They're the exact opposite of merfolk, basically. Swim 40 feet, speed is 10 feet on land, or just normal movement. Now they can also breathe air and water. They speak Abyssal and Aquan. Their challenge rating is 2. Their actions, they have a multi-attack. They can bite, and they can attack with their claw or their weapon. And they have a harpoon, which is used as a melee attack or ranged. And the cool thing about the harpoon is if the attack succeeds and the target is of huge size or less, then they must make a strength contest or be risked being pulled towards the Merrill. So that's kind of cool. Underwater combat be pretty cool. And if you're worried about low-level PCs and underwater combat, remember what I said about unique magic items? Create something that allows them to move fairly decently in the water and breathe for a good amount of time. There you go, problem solved. Alright, so yeah, that is the Merfolk and Merrill. Hopefully now you know a little bit more about that, and you might include them in your stories or base a whole campaign on them. That's all for me. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video and you want to see more, please like, subscribe, or comment. Thanks for watching.